What's up, my people? Back again with another video for y'all. I want to talk about something very profound that I've figured out. I want to share with the people because the people have the right to know. Knowledge is power. Educate yourself. Don't just take my word for it. Make sure you go look the stuff up yourself. Because over here on this channel, we're going to bring you nothing but the raw, uncut, uncensored truth. And you can even back it up. We can back it up with facts. So I want to talk about gangstalking. I want to talk about its connection to colonialism, white supremacy, racism. See, because when you're getting 24 hours surveilled and gangstalked, when you're a target individual, you learn a lot about people. People show their true colors in times of adversity. So something I've noticed is, and a lot of other people have accounts of this as well, you notice that the people following you tend to be the majority of the people tend to be elderly Caucasian males, middle-aged Caucasian males, and elderly and middle-aged, even younger, Caucasian females, because they like to hide behind feminism, right? But we're going to do a little history lesson here today. So yeah, target individuals are being gangstalked by Freemason, government-funded, police-managed, institutions' involvement. They're all in on it. It's systemic, like racism. And a good example of this program is Zersetzung, which was from the Cold War in Eastern Germany, which the Stasi, the secret police, they ran this program to spy on people they deemed as political threats to the establishment, people who had different opinions or spoke out against the government injustices during the Cold War. COINTELPRO, counterintelligence program, ran from the 50s to the 70s by the FBI. It was a legal program where they forged documents, ran smear campaigns, used a lot of bribery. Just essentially the target individual, like Martin Luther King, was set up and framed in a way that the damage was irreversible. Where the ultimate goal is for the targeted individual to self-delete, if you know what I mean. I don't want to say it because my video will get flagged, but self-delete. So what I've noticed about these creepy elderly Caucasian men following me 24/7 everywhere I go, they all have a very demonic look to them, very colonial look. Like the Colonel Sanders from Kentucky Fried Chicken is a perfect example. But yeah, they show up everywhere you go. They're with you everywhere you go. They know where you're going to go before you go there. A lot of them are ex-military. A lot of them are Freemasons in the fire department, ex-cops, crooked cops. And a lot of them are city workers. Just colonizers, right? It's embedded in this colonial / gangstalking program. It's all very coercively intertwined. And that's how they've stolen so many countries and so much land and resources. Never through conquest, never through fair fights, never through wars, never through keeping treaties or keeping their end of the bargain. Always through gangstalking. Always through manipulation and manipulating the general public's opinion. Because in their mind, they think that if they can convince enough people of a lie, that it becomes the truth. And that still reigns true to this very day. That's what they do. But this illegal, very insidious, demonic program Freemasonic program, the Gangstalking. It's the same war tactics, psychological warfare is what it is. And it's what they've used to destabilize other countries when they go in and they invade other countries. A good example of that would be Venezuela. Good example of that would be, man, you can name so many. How many? Canada, United States, Australia, essentially anywhere, any colonial state. But what they'll do is they'll infiltrate the country, the government, and they'll use the divide and conquer tactics, right? They'll go in and they'll tell this. Good example of this is Pakistan and India, right? They'll go in, they'll tell this side this one thing, they'll give them some resources. They'll go to the other side, they'll tell them another thing, and they'll give them these resources. And then they'll watch the two fight, and they'll sit back and they'll say, hey, we had nothing to do with this, right? Lies, right? They had everything to do with it. But they get other people to do their dirty work. It's very narcissistic. It's very manipulative. It's very evil. Because these people don't have consciences, right? They don't care. They look at these other nations of people as below them. They look at these other nations of people as they're there to serve them, right? Narcissistic personality disorder, same thing. Look at the connections, right? And a lot of these gang stalkers, they'll hire, white supremacist groups, organizations to work for them. Because these people love doing this to minorities, right? They've been doing this. They enjoy it. They get fueled off of it. It's almost as if they can't sleep unless they're oppressing somebody. But see how they all work together? Right? One hand washes the other. Because you got to remember, right? They stole all these lands. So they have infinite resources. They have infinite money. They just print it up, right? And they've done this all across the world, right? They've overthrown countries all across the world. They go in, they cause chaos, and then they clean up the mess. Another good movie that shows you this tactic that they use is Sicario. Go watch that movie, part 1 and part 2. It shows you how the U.S. government intervenes with Mexico. And the whole situation down there in Mexico, it's all because of the U.S. It's all because of white supremacy. It's all because of the West, just like in so many other countries. Look at Burkina Faso, right? Ibrahim Traoré, right? Overthrowing the white supremacists and saying, no, we're taking back our own resources. Because they take the resources, they don't give the people a minimal fraction, even a minimal fraction of the resources, and they send them back to their queen or their king, or they keep them amongst themselves. The deep state, right? Shadow government, right? Colonialism, white supremacy. See how it all works together? And the reason why now in North America we're hearing such a mass influx of these gang stalking accounts is because they're losing their white supremacy across the world. They're not reproducing, right? They're not reproducing in the numbers because a lot of their women are having children with minorities. So they're losing their strength in numbers, right? They're losing their power. What people call the West, right? Essentially, which is the few white supremacy dominant countries that are still left to this day. Yeah, man, these Freemason elderly men following you it's creepy, man. It's weird. They're weird. It's like they can't help themselves. It's like they're so used to doing it. It's like a part of them. It's like part of their nature. It's like part of their culture. But they've been doing this, man. Like when people are getting gang stalked and they're getting poisoned and they're getting covertly harassed and they're getting stalked, it's very predatorial. It reminds me of like the lynching days, like, when they used to do their good old lynching days, when they used to hang black people from trees and take pictures next to it with for postcards. Remember they did that? It's kind of like the same thing, because We are our ancestors reincarnated, right? And they do this to indigenous people, right? All across the globe. No matter where you go, this is what they do. Now, another tactic, what they do, what the governments do, is they bring in a mass amount of immigrants. And if you notice the countries that the people immigrate from, they're usually victims of white supremacy themselves, right? India, China, Iran. You're going to see these people specifically in high amounts. Remember, you're not going to see the top tier immigrants. You're going to see the bottom tier immigrants coming in, right? And that's because they can be so easy manipulated, because their minds are infected by the demonic white supremacy. So what they do is they get them to do what's called their dirty work, or what's called, they act as the cat's paw. For those who don't know what cat's paw is, it's when you get somebody else to carry out your agenda so you keep your hands clean, right? Because they got so much blood on their hands. And with the Gangstalking program, it's all projection, right? They know what they've done. They know they've stolen these lands. They know they've murdered millions of innocent people. They know they've stolen the resources. They know they've stolen the culture, the identity of these people. And that's the number one thing that the Gangstalking program aims for. It's your identity. They want to take your character away from you. They want to take your sense of self away from you. They want to take your culture away from you. Because if they can take those away from you, then you don't have anything left. You're much more easier to control, right? But would you look at this? That's what they've done everywhere they've gone. Every single continent. They go in, they destabilize it, they cause conflict between the people, where the people are fighting each other. Then they come in as the saviors with the solution. When the solution doesn't benefit the people, it benefits them. And they just laugh. They laugh at you guys. Because you fall for the same trick over and over again. And that's what the Gangstalking program does to the target individual. It's no different. It's the same thing. Go look it up. There's an interesting interview online with a guy named Tim Kennedy. He's an ex-Marine and an ex-UFC fighter. Go look it up. He breaks it down to you. He tells you out of his own mouth. Hear it straight from the horse's mouth. He talks about how 4 Marines, potentially Freemasons, will go into a country. They will destabilize the country within a week or 2. They'll leave with new clothes, with a whole bunch of money, with their power infrastructure instilled into the country, and with a new wife. He said it himself. Go look it up. Tim Kennedy. Wolves in sheep's clothing. And you'll see a lot of them. They're in all the colonial jobs, all the colonial institutions, the police force, the military, the city workers, the schools, the banks. They're everywhere, man. They control all this stuff. And they all help each other out, right? They want to keep the white supremacy going. Because they knew that this day would come where their reign's going to come to an end. And we're in that time. And that's why they're doubling down on the Gangstalking program. They're doubling down on it because they know they're losing control. And that's what psychopaths do when they lose control. They double down and they get more sociopathic. And here's another thing I learned about these people, man. They all know what's going on. Even the good ones, quote unquote good ones. They know what's going on. They know they benefit from it all. So they turn the other way, right? Turn a blind eye to it, right? They're used to it. They all know what's going on. And it goes even deeper, but that's another video. I'm just keeping it a little simple for everybody. But yeah, these gangstalkers, these racist, white supremacists, Freemasons, and their daughters and their wives, they're not innocent. They're some of the worst ones. Because they just hide behind the guise of, oh, feminism, I'm a victim. But no, they're part of the colonial agenda as well. They're weaponized. Just like how our women are weaponized against us as well. People see your games. We see your tactics. We see your moves. I'm not impressed. I don't consent. You're in traditional Coast Salish territory. You're in my people's territory. I don't consent to this. I am the true royalty here. We are the true royalty here. You are just a vagabond here. You're a squatter here. You call yourself a settler. You're not a settler. You're a thief, a vagabond. And you got blood on your hands. And your gangstalking program is going to come to an end because there's an ultimate judge, the Most High, Yahweh. He sees all of it. This was all written about, though, in the Bible. It's been documented. Your time's up. That's why you're panicking. That's why you're targeting us. And here's the thing about the devil, right? Because I'm giving you the devil's playbook right here. The devil is so evil. And what we're seeing now is he's going to turn on his own people. Once he's used you for all year 4, once he's got you to perform all your satanic, cultist, demonic rituals, and he's gotten all that he can get from you, he's going to turn on you too. That's just the nature of these devils. That's how they operate. I'm giving you the devil's playbook here, so please give me a like, comment, share, and subscribe. And correct me if I'm wrong. And do me a favor. Make sure you go see that movie Get Out by Jordan Peele. It's an old movie. I think it's from like 2015, 16. But that movie it can change your whole perception. It can change your whole view of what's really going on out here. Because that's what this is all about. It's all about government, mind control, manipulation, coercion, thievery, genocide, ultimately control. Covert, malignant, narcissist tactics. That's all it is. It's nothing new. They done been doing this. But people like to pretend like it's not happening or that it's okay. That people have just become so conditioned to accept this as like the reality, or become so dependent on this way of thinking, this evil demonic way of thinking, that they'll just turn a blind eye. Shame on you. Speak out against it. Speak out against this matrix, this evil, demonic, slave-driven society that we live in, where now that they're using the immigrants to essentially execute their agenda. But no, we see you. So make sure you guys go look this stuff up for yourself if you don't believe me. These are the facts. I'm going to bring you the facts, nothing but the facts. I can go deeper. I can break down some other topics, but this one I just want to stay on topic, and I wanted to let you know that I've noticed that the gangstalkers are running European colonial psychological warfare, lawfare, genocidal tactics, and that's what this program is. That's why they're good at doing it, because it comes natural to them. They know what they're doing. It's in their DNA. Facts. Yeah, but that's all I got for today. Make sure you check out those recommendations. Go Google all the stuff I'm talking about. Don't just take my word for it. Look it up yourself. Educate yourself. Knowledge is power. We're in the last days. Time to get girded up. And time to speak the truth. Because we are not the problem. We have never been the problem. They are the problem. They just don't want to deal with that harsh reality. They want to go and project it onto anything and everybody else but themselves. Because they got blood on their hands. And that's what they do. It's a sign of guilt. They're shame-based people. Thanks for tuning in. More videos coming soon. Peace out.